Access granted.
Subject: interview with Marty Abrams, Paul Clarke and Frank Wojo. Body: on 7/27/2021, Christopher McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80, was tasked with the mission of interviewing the men behind the latest G.I. Joe X MEGO collaboration with Hasbro. MEGO CEO Marty Abrams and the design team Paul Clarke and Frank Wojo. Here's what we could show you from this G14 classified interview.
Access granted.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Redacted with me as your host Christopher McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80. I am joined today by an entire team of people representing the MEGO Corporation, and we are going to chat about their latest collaboration with Hasbro and specifically their G.I. Joe line. Please welcome CEO Marty Abrams and the design team on this project, Paul Clarke and Frank Wojo. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show. How are you all doing?
Well, we're doing great. Thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Definitely excited to be here to talk about Joe and MEGO.
Absolutely. We've just lost Paul then.
All right. I'm always here.
Yeah, you'll be the background, the disembodied head. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
You were blanked out by this script, right? So we wanted to get rid of it.
Oh,
we
okay,
wanted to see a beautiful face.
I'm so sorry. I feel really bad for you. Right then, guys. We'll start off then. How are you all doing?
Yeah, we're doing great. Actually, we're doing better than your first introduction.
Yeah.
I'm leaving all of that in because it's actual it's comedy gold. Marty, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. Obviously, you're a bit of a legend in these parts now. Obviously, the CEO of MEGO and everything. You recently revealed a very exciting new venture between yourselves and Hasbro for the G.I. Joe brand, a Ninja Rivals 2-pack with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I mean, how did it come about? How did this finally happen, MEGO and Hasbro collaborating?
Well, we've been very close to Hasbro for the last 40-odd years. And there was even a period of time that we worked with Hasbro. We worked for them, although on a consulting basis, it was full-time consulting.
Yeah.
And we've sold them other brands, one of them being Micronauts, which you may be aware of.
Yes, absolutely.
And another one being Visionaries, which was a brand that we sold them early on in the 90s. So our relationship is very not only cordial, it's been very unique and very strong. And it's a very unique company because they've had the ability to turn around and reinvent themselves over and over again in terms of brands, gaming acquisitions, in terms of company acquisitions. And in the context of that, they've bought all iconic stuff. I mean, whether it be Monopoly or whether it be Star Wars. I mean, this is a brilliant company. And so we've had this dialogue for a long time. I'm talking about us doing stuff together. And G.I. Joe being the first opportunity to come aboard. And we probably wouldn't have gotten this opportunity, except that Pulse has been such an extraordinary success for them that they allowed us to turn around and participate in the launch, especially with the new movie coming out.
Yeah, so was that almost like Hasbro coming to you a little bit and saying about, we're doing the G.I. Joe thing, again, it's kind of revitalizing, or was that kind of like I said, was it more like an ongoing dialogue that you guys had?
It's an ongoing dialogue. I would love to take and say, they came and said, we're the only company in the world. We execute for you. We love your brand, and we only want to do business. But that really is not the case. We have been talking to them about doing lots of different things together across the board, up to and including Micronauts, because we that's a brand that we had created and sold to them many years ago. So it all starts to evolve over a period of time. And during these conversations, something then popped up, and the availability came, and that's when we jumped all over it.
Fantastic. And you mentioned Micronauts there, but that's another one I'd love to see revamped again. Obviously, we've had, movies and stuff kind of in the periphery with Micronauts, and obviously the animated series, which is finished, but still being held on to a little bit. So that's another thing. I mean, would that be something that you'd be loving to get back into in terms of the toy line again?
It's almost hitting the nail on the head. The reality check is, it's their brand. They own the brand. Anything I could possibly do to help launch that brand, talk to the collectors, be part of the process, obviously would be a great honor for me on a personal level. But I would never want to step in their way of their launch, of their brand, their product.
Just take over, Marty. Just take over. Just be like, I got this, Hasbro. We're on it. With the choice of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, was that kind of a no-brainer to start with the film? Obviously, kind of being released on the same day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've got this big launch, a big brand coming down the pike. The two lead characters, good versus evil, the origin story coming together. So it was for us a no-brainer.
Yeah.
The hard brainer, quite candidly, was how we were going to build the characters and what the look was going to be.
Yeah.
Because we want to go retro, but we had to be enough contemporary to be a part of what we're currently doing. And so that was the balance we had to strike.
Absolutely. And obviously there's such a charm to the MEGO, figure designs and everything. And that's something that basically seems to be such a nostalgic, widespread appeal for loads of people. How did you approach that design perspective with G.I. Joe and MEGO combining? Because
I understand the collective market, and because we understand what they are looking for, and because we have to be very specific, how I approached it was to stand out. Went out and got guys like Frank Wojo, who is a major collector, who works with us and other brands to design the line. I mean, so it became very nostalgic, but very detailed in terms of what the Joe collector would be looking for. And so that's how we designed that process. So if we get into the design side, I'll defer to Wojo to walk you through his process and his thinking on it.
Absolutely. We'll take it away then, Frank. I mean, take us through that, getting G.I. Joe into MEGO, basically.
I can just tell you, first off, being, letting Marty, saying, hey, Frank and Paul coming, to me, we're doing G.I. Joe. We want you in on this project. Talk about a bucket list, labor of love. Come on. This is a kid growing up playing with MEGO and G.I. Joes, in late 70s, early 80s. So for me, I approached it, I kind of thought, I wanted to take the MEGO style and the G.I. Joe level of detail and, just that and combine it and kind of, what I would want to have seen, with the two brands combined. And with Paul, Paul was much more experienced with this than I do, bouncing stuff off of him. Can we do this? Can we do that? Of course, Paul was like, calm down, But what we wanted to go for, Chris, was the look that captures just the classic retro feel of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I wanted people to look at these characters and know exactly who they are, exactly what the look we were going for. I mean, for me, growing up watching the animated series, reading the comic book, reading the file cards, playing with the toys, I wanted to capture that nostalgic feel, that nostalgic look of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. With that, we wanted to make sure they had all the even the equipment. If you the equipment. If you look
I noticed the accessories were very, very close, aren't they, to the kind of original? I love that. Even the backpack with the little clips on it for the saw to go through and stuff like that. I love that.
We thought that would resonate with Joe collectors and MEGO collectors. So again, we wanted to take a piece of that G.I. Joe history, that G.I. Joe lore, and kind of weave it in with the MEGO style. So
and it comes across really well as well. Obviously you get both styles in there. There's a good balance, but also it's so immediately Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. There's no no messing around there. Right. What I will say though is that there's some what I really love actually, and I'll bring this up now, is the 70s and 80s vibe of Storm Shadow and kind of I want to say American Ninja movie style. That's what hits me when I look at that figure. Was that going through your mind in the design process?
It should. I mean, again, you look at Storm Shadow from 1984. I've even read pieces and articles and snippets about they came up with this character because of the ninja craze in the 80s. And for me as a kid growing up watching American Ninja, Enter the Ninja, you're absolutely right. Yeah, that vibe, that picture was there when we were designing this. So yeah,
it definitely comes across more in the MEGO figure than it does in the vintage figure for me, though. Definitely, I love that there's that infusion of that time period almost in there.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's again the whole nostalgia thing for all of us. I wanted to try and capture that. So thank you for noticing that there.
Oh yeah. I was looking at every single image in fine detail. One thing I will mention is you guys did a lot of product photography. My word, I've never seen that many pictures on Hasbro Pulse before. Usually when you get a product reveal, there's about 8, 9.
Yeah.
There was like 29 pictures on there. And this is great. Loads of like detail and everything.
That's great.
One thing I did notice was on Snake Eyes, you've kind of gone with like there's little like patches on the like little panels almost on the suit. Kind of is that almost like a nod at the kind of tightness of the original kind of?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, what we were, I was bouncing stuff off of Paul. Like, we first looked at it as a bodysuit. Then Paul was like, no, we need to add something extra. So we started talking about like a tactical vest, like, what Snake Eyes would wear. Then it kind of just evolved into looking like, the pectoral and the abs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but I think the look came across, hopefully it came across as well as we wanted it to for fans.
Yeah, it was really nice. Really, really cool. Excellent little design on Snake Eyes too. Now, there's also we didn't actually see in the multitude of images. there wasn't a packaging image on there. I was just wondering if you guys can maybe talk about what that's going to look like. If it's how you
First, refer to Marty on that because I think Marty has probably more detail on what Hasbro is currently doing with their style of packaging, and I'll add some detail to it.
There's a uniqueness to the packaging because Hasbro has gone all green in that context. So we had to build around that concept in that framework. So there's no plastic in the packaging at all. Even in the small accessories, we put them in a paper bag to prevent that coming out. And it was a uniquely Hasbro position on the packaging, where the characters are in fighting form. You can see them going at one another in terms of that excitement and that process. And because it was a 2-pack, it's a dominant package versus the single pack. It's not twice the size; it's 4 times the size. So it gets that feeling of product innovation that Hasbro's famous for.
Fantastic. Are you guys utilizing kind of like the G.I. Joe branded kind of artwork and stuff like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We follow their lead specifically there. That's where they want to be, and that's what we built for them.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I guess is that still kind of pending approval? You can't really show anything off just yet?
Yes. The answer to that is yes. I mean, but the approvals are pretty much in place.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what we were going for, Chris, we came up with some really killer, retro stuff, and I'm sure it's going to come across with the final product design. I mean, that blast is iconic, so everybody sees that, they know exactly what it is. So
the explosion, yeah, absolutely. Exactly. That is like absolutely iconic. The last thing to kind of really go over actually is the fact that this was described as a line. This isn't just like a one-off kind of thing here, and kind of in press release and information that's been put out. It does say like a G.I. Joe line you guys are doing. So first of all, I just wanted you to confirm that there will be more coming from MEGO and G.I. Joe, if that's possible. And obviously, I know you can't talk about what's actually coming. But, what can you kind of tell us about the future of this particular little collaboration?
It's been a very unique collaboration. It's been a collaboration of creativity. It's been a collaboration of excellence in terms of 2 separate companies. They're the big brother. We're the remote kid cousin living in Wales. But having said that, we hope this is the first step to many more products coming down the pike, so we can build this whole collectible line that runs parallel to what they're currently doing.
So you can't just tell us what's coming then. Can you not just list out all the characters you're doing for the next?
No.
Okay. I knew that was the case, by the way. I just thought it'd be funny to say. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you about this. Is there anything else you wanted to maybe talk about in terms of the actual figures themselves? Is there anything you want to kind of get out there to the fans?
I do want to mention that with all the photography out there, these are actually done by Paul. The hand painted prototypes. Paul put them together for Hasbro. So the finished product will look even crisper. These actually will be the first MEGO figures on the new, what we call bandless body.
Yeah.
Points of articulation.
We stepped up our game for this product line when we started to talk with Hasbro. We knew we were going to go up on the retail side, so they were going to be adding a lot of the accessory packages to do it. But we really had to separate the wheat from the chaff in the context of the previous bodies. And so we elevated the body by a dramatic play. We've gone to I thought it was 24 points of articulation, but they found 2 more points that they could play with. So you've got a real quality product. The rubber band assembly portion is gone. It's all snapping together across the board. It's a much more expensive body, expensive tooling that goes in terms of the context of the accessories, and we're real excited about the packaging that they're doing and how they're building this process going down the pike.
Fantastic. I cannot wait to see this in hand as well. I can't wait to see the figures in hand, and really looking forward to any more following this as well. But that brings us to the end of the interview, guys. Thank you so much, Marty, Paul, Franks. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me. I know time is very precious at the moment. I'm sure you're all very busy as well with this actual venture and everything going on.
Actually, not. We're just hanging out together.
Well, that's good. I feel better about that now. In that case, here's another.
I don't want you to feel like you're opposing the us.
Here's another hour.
The flip side, we here at MEGO want to thank you very much.
Yes.
For the opportunity to talk about the brand, talk about the exposure, talk about what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, the whole premise is who collects this. At the end of the day is who turns around and wants to be part of the process. And if the collection base widens and builds to both brands, meaning the MEGO collector as well as the Hasbro collector, then we can turn around and build future stuff together. And that's what this is all about. So we want to thank you for having us on. We hope to at some point get on with you guys down the road. And quite can they have a great week.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Like I said, that brings us to the end of the interview. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Redacted. Thank you to my wonderful guests, Marty Abrams, Paul Clarke and Frank Wojo of the MEGO Corporation. See you next time. And as always, full force.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Much appreciated.
Hasbro Pulse.
You can pre-order your own G.I. Joe X MEGO Ninja Rivals Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow 2-pack from Hasbro Pulse, link in the description.
Access granted.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.
Access granted.